Is it sick of me to need control of you? Is it sick to make you back the way I do? Is it sick of me to want you crawling on your knees? Is it sick to say I want you biting down on me? Are you sick like me? Am I beautiful? Am I beautiful? Am I beautiful? Am I dying to be so beautiful? Am I beautiful? Even though I lost you on my soul. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. As you turn me to pieces. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. And you're ugly. Yes, I always say you're beautiful and sick like me. Is it sick of me to feel the animal in you? Is it sick to say I choose the hunter like I do? Is it sick of me to watch the wicked way you thrill? Is it sick to say that I live to break your will? Are you sick like me? Am I beautiful? Am I beautiful? Just tell me I'm beautiful. Am I dying to be so beautiful? Am I beautiful? Even though I lost you, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. As you turn me to pieces, you tell me I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. And you're ugly. Yes, I always say you're beautiful and sick like me. Is it sick like me? 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 Sick like me? Am I beautiful? As you tell me to be yourself. Am I beautiful? Even if my ugly is just you're beautiful. As you tell me to be yourself. Am I beautiful? Am I beautiful? Even if my ugly is just you're beautiful. You're pieces. You're beautiful. And you're ugly. I always say you're beautiful and sick like me. Sick like me.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cardinal Sugar Plum. Hold on, I'm gonna play us another song. I don't know how you feel about heavy music, Mr. Cardinal, but I love it. Can you hear me, Mr. Cardinal? I want to make sure you can hear me. Okay, I was just making sure. Hold on a second. I'm gonna play us another song and pop up notifications. Shit, gotta make those stop. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm gonna play another song.
Lost in the darkness, hoping for a sign. Instead, there's only silence. Can't you hear my screams? Never stop hoping, needs to know where you are. But one thing's for sure, you're always in my heart. I'll find you somewhere. I'll keep on trying until my dying day. I just need to know whatever's happened, the truth will free my soul. Lost in the darkness, trying to find your way home. I want to embrace you and never let you go. Almost hope you're in heaven, so no one can hurt your soul. Living in agony, 'cause I just do not know where you are. I'll find you somewhere. I'll keep on trying until my dying day. I just need to know whatever's happened, the truth will free my soul. Wherever you are, I won't stop searching. Whatever it takes me to know. I'll find you somewhere. Keep on trying until my dying day. I just need to know whatever has happened, the truth will free my soul.
Damn, I wish I could sing like that. Okay, hold on just a minute, y'all. Let me get that all shut down. Okay. Hey, let me see if I can pronounce your name. Baxoplicoli. And welcome. Hey, Sugar Plum, Mr. Cardinal. Hey, Sugar Plum, Susan R. I don't know if there's going to be many of us today because I found that going live this time of day on Sunday doesn't usually work very well. But damn it, and fuck that, and fuck them. So we don't care. Now, do we? Now, I wish I could sing like them. I'm getting ready to put the links for those two songs in the chat in just a minute to give them credit for using their music. You can't play the originals on here, so you have to play covers of songs if you don't want to get in trouble. But although I thought those two people did awesome covers of those songs, they weren't shitty covers, they were good covers. So hold on just a minute. I got to put on some funny animal videos on the TV for my mom to watch. See. Hey, Sugar Plum, boss lady, and welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Ooh, y'all must know each other because y'all are calling each other by the first names and shit. Who's all in church? Boss lady? What, the ladies that can sing like that, they're all in church? Is that what you're saying, boss lady? Let's see. Hold on just a second. I got to get her something on TV to watch. Damn it. Damn. Alerts keep popping up over and over and over and over again. Oh. All of the rest of them are in, all the rest of YouTube's in church repenting. Well, I sort of doubt that's true, but they need to. Sound, turn it down. Hold on a second. I got to, like I said, I got to get on some animal videos for my mom to watch over there. Because she can't watch or listen to the YouTube show because then we'll get feedback and shit. Oh shit, that damn volume's still up. Okay, let me get it down. Down, 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 down. Okay, I think I got it down now. Okay, let's see. All right. For you, those of you that have never been here before, welcome. For those of you that don't realize what I'm doing, I've started a new thing that's called narrating the chat. And that's for people that seems like there's always more people listening than participating. So they don't have to look at their phone and they can just lay there or whatever and they can understand what the hell's going on without having to read the chat. Hey, Sugar Plum Irish Eyes. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. Mr. Cardinal says, this is Church of Nary Mary. Boss Lady says, laugh out loud. Cardinal says, sleep in late service. Boss Lady says, right on, Nary. Oh Lord, I'm gonna have to find a way to shorten your name. I'm gonna have to call you back. So, says, I was saying my name is Rachel. I don't sleep much and I've enjoyed your streams. I just happened upon you one day in the wee hours of the morning. Well, thank you very much, Baxo, and come back any and every and all the time. And Iris says, hey, Nary, you changed your name. No, I didn't change it. I just put it on there like that on the screen. It's still Nary, quite contrary. Okay, let's see. Boss Lady says, I saw you from Lemonade. Meerkat says, jump up and get down. Jump, jump, jump. Laugh out loud. Laws. Yeah, jump around. Jump around. Jump up and get down. What was it? Something about I came to get down. I came to get down. Okay. All right. Mr. Cardinal, you said you got some videos of some birds that you took out your window. Yes, no, maybe. Type in the chat and answer me. Ladies, it's liable to be a real slow day today. There's 20 people watching, but there ain't but a few of us talking. Like I said, I've noticed before that Sunday afternoon and certain times on Sunday aren't always the best to go live. But oh well, I tried it. Okay. Let me know, Mr. Cardinal. Tell me. If you're still here, Mr. Cardinal, let me know about your videos. Yes, no, maybe. Reply in the chat. All right, y'all are going to have to start typing so I can have something to talk about. Can't sit here and talk to myself. I could, but I don't want to. I don't know if I got a lag or what, because I'm not seeing any replies. Okay. All right, y'all are going to have to start writing so I can answer you back, because I can't sit here and just talk to myself. Or like I said, actually I could, but I really don't want to. Shalom, Bellin. Would you like to come up and talk, Bellin? I can drop you a link. Okay, let's see. Okay. You want hold on, let me see what Mr. Cardinal says. Mr. Cardinal says, yep, 2 new ones, winter birdies. Ian Ellis LLC says shalom. Mr. Cardinal said, I just did. Mr. Cardinal says, hey, buddy. Okay, so all right, I can play your videos if you want me to, Mr. Cardinal. Are you cool with that? And why don't you come up and talk, Mr. Cardinal? You never came up and talk. Why don't you come up and talk? I can drop you a link. Let me know if you want me to show your videos, play your videos, Mr. Cardinal. And I can do that. And what's going on? What are y'all doing on this fine Sunday afternoon? Where it seems like nobody's around because they must be, like they said, like you said, someone might be at church or like doing their Sunday family things or whatever. Like I said, I found out before, Sunday afternoon is not the best time to do lives. But oh well, I tried it anyway. Because I'm brave and adventurous and shit. Okay, Mr. Cardinal, tell me the answer if you can hear me. I don't know if there's a lag in chat or what's going on. Okay, hold on a second. Mr. Cardinal says, shh. Oh, fuck. What am I talking about? Mr. Cardinal says, sure. No sound, though. And I'm up here talking about, shh. Can't talk. Our side, hold on a second. Irish Eye says, in Ireland this weekend, a mother killed her 3 children, all under the age of 11. A mother who can believe that. Yes, that's very sad to hear. We just had the same thing here. I think it was in Arizona. 3 children, all under the age of 3, I think. She killed 3 of her own children, all under the age of 3. Mr. Cardinal said, very short on a gloomy day. Birds are great. Yeah. Seems like there might be a lag on the StreamYards today. I don't know what to do about that. It's weird. It's like some days it's perfectly not like that, and then other days it just is. Baxo says, I'm listening and writing notes for work. Yuck. Oh my gosh, Irish Eyes. Seriously, I don't get why this is happening so much. It's awful. Okay, y'all, hold on just a minute. Okay, I'm going to do something. Okay, we've done this before, and I'm probably going to make it a habit. We're going to have a moment of silence for the 3 murdered children. Starting now. Okay, that was our moment of silence for the 3 murdered children in Ireland, and also the 3 murdered children in Arizona. I may play them a tribute or memory song, in memoriam song for them later on in the stream. Arsha says, thank you so much, Neri. Ireland is a small place, so it hits hard. Double heart. Boss lady puts a sad face. You're very welcome, Irish Eyes. I may play a tribute song later. Um, I'm starting to make a YouTube playlist for my YouTube channel, but it has to be all cover songs. It can't be the original artist, and I don't have very many songs in there yet, so I don't have anything picked out to put in there like this, like a cover song of like a, you know, like a memorial song that's a cover. I only have ready the originals. Okay, hold on. Let me go to uh hey Sugar Plum, Doodlebug. Doodlebug says very touching, Neri. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to go to Mr. Cardinal's page and play her bird videos. Hold on a second. I gotta see if I can find them and pull them up. Just leave it in there. I'll take care of it. No, they won't. Just leave it there. I'll take care of it. I'll throw it away. I left it there on purpose. Hold on, I'm still trying to find your channel, Mr. Cardinal. Shoot. Let me see. How am I going to do this? Okay. Okay, I think I found it. Hold on a second. Yeah, Ian says the weather is killing my phone connection. Yeah, I'm wondering if something's going on with my weather too today or something, because sometimes the chat lags real bad, and I don't know if the weather has something to do with it here today too, because it's kind of really overcast, and I don't know if somehow that's like affecting it or what. Mr. Cardinal says, keep in mind they're shot through double pane windows. Mr. Cardinal says, click my avatar in chat. I don't think, yeah, I don't need to do that. I've already, I don't think so anyway. I've already think I found it. Yeah, I'd already found you already. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. I am getting the video. Or some real countrified hicks may say video. Yes, I've heard it said before. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, this is Mr. Cardinal's bird video. And Mr. Cardinal, you try to strike me for replaying your video, I'ma kick your ass. Kidding, kidding, just kidding. I know you wouldn't do that. It's a joke, damn it. Guess that's a power line they're sitting on. Okay, hold on. Let me go get her other video. Hold on, I'm getting the other video. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, this is Mr. Cardinal's second video of, I believe that is an actual cardinal. All right. I take it the Cardinals must be your favorite, Mr. Cardinal, I would imagine from your name. Like I said, I'm in North Carolina, and the cardinal is the state bird. Let's see. Hold on. Yes, 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 yes. No striking, no striking for playing the videos. No striking, no striking. Strike, bitches. Cardinal says, yeah. Main power line. They like the heat. That's dangerous as hell, though. Sitting on power lines, although I know birds do it all the time. An ex-boyfriend of mine, he had squirrels walk on his power line all the time, and there was something wrong with it or something. It would blow them up and kill them, and they would have this big like hole right through them, perfectly round, blown hole through them. It was terrible. Boss lady says not to be body shaming, but that's or wait a minute. Cardinal says that's my boy, Mr. Cardinal. Where did you say you were again, Mr. Cardinal? You told me before, but I can't remember. Y'all have to forgive me for not remembering details about each and every individual one of you because you talk to so many people. I swear I can't remember that kind of shit. Uh, Boss lady says not to be body shaming, but that one is a fat bird. Cardinal says he stays year round. His chillins stay too some years. Cardinal says he's fluffed up. It's cold, boss lady. Boss lady says it looks freezing. Cardinal says Iowa. Hey, 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 Sugar Plum, Bloomful Beauties. Bloomful Beauty says the cardinal is our state bird. Yes, I just told them that's our state bird. And our state crop is tobacco, and the rest of it I don't remember. I'd have to check. Yes, Iowa. So yeah, I would say that the culture, even though it's not exactly the same as the South, oh shit. I would say even though the culture is not exactly the same in the South, uh, probably fairly similar in that region, I would say. If it because in Iowa the Midwest, and if it is, I think the Midwest is kind of similar to Southern culture. Boss lady says Oregon. Bloomful says good afternoon, Neri. Just now coming in. Okay, let's see. I might have to figure out some shit to entertain us since we got no more than just us talking. I'm used to some damn drama popping off and all kinds of people running in here and shit going on. Well, actually, even when no drama's popping off, more people are coming in. But like I said, I've tried this before on Sunday, and certain hours on Sunday and even Saturdays don't seem to be that good for smaller channels anyway. Um, uh, Bloomful says, I've heard Iowa has some really nice farms. I've always wanted to see it. Mr. Cardinal says, yep, except for university towns. Boss lady said, I think the culture is nothing like the South. Well, you're in Oregon, and is that considered the Midwest, boss lady? Boss lady says, state crop is weed. State drink is beer. Well, I'm afraid that might be the same here. Yeah, the Northwest is probably not really like the Midwest, like in Iowa or wherever. Wait a minute, damn it, where is Iowa? Is that the Midwest or not, Mr. Cardinal? I do not know my geology, damn it. Y'all are confusing me. Blimble says no, that is the Pacific Northwest. What is Oregon or Iowa? Damn it! My estranged husband gives me hell for that all the time, not knowing my geology. But oh well, I'm just not geographical. Damn it! Yeah, okay, I thought so. Cardinal said Midwest below Wisconsin. Yeah, I think the Midwest is kind of similar to the South. Bloomfield says Oregon is Pacific near the coast of Pacific Northwest. Or Bloomfield says that. Oh, fuck, wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe I should say that again. Okay. Bloomfield says no, that's the Pacific Northwest. Cardinal says Midwest below Wisconsin. Bloomfield says Iowa is Midwest. Bloomfield says Oregon is Pacific near the coast of is Pacific Northwest. Bloomfield says Iowa is Midwest. Boss says yes. Okay, y'all. So let me see. We're moving kind of slow, so I was thinking we might try to do some true crime. Let me look at some things here. Y'all talk for a few minutes while I look at some things. I'm going to check into some shit to see if I can run it or not. Boss lady says we got drama this morning. What happened? Tell me all about it, because I don't know. And like I said, Mr. Cardinal, would you like to come up? Or Bloomful Beauties, would you like to come up? I can drop y'all a link. Or anybody else that would like to come up. Y'all talk for a few minutes while I check and see. I'm gonna check and see if maybe I can find something for us to play and talk about. Uh, and that I can get away with playing. Bloomful says, Nary, did you see the Chris Watts movie last night? No, I did not. So I guess I'm going to have to try to watch it sometime today, because actually I didn't know it was airing last night. I didn't know it was airing this soon. So no, I missed it. Damn it. Mr. Cardinal said, no, but thank you. Well, one of these days you're going to have to get your ass out of the bushes and the trees watching birds and get up here and talk to me and quit being a weirdo. Mr. Cardinal. Okay, hold on, y'all. I'm going to check and see if I can find us maybe something to watch and talk about. But I got to check and see if I can get away with playing some of this shit or not first. If I think I can, anyway. Okay, let's see. Mr. Cardinal said he. Bloomfield says, Nary, I'll come on at some point. Today's not good. I'm expecting a friend to come over in a few minutes. Boss Lady said that was last night's drama. Mr. Colonel says weirdos are us. Boss Lady says, don't know if you all follow that group. Boss Lady says, or care for that matter, just thought I would throw it out. What group? The Chris Watts group? Okay, I figure what we'll do, since things are kind of moving slow and there's not that many of us here, we'll talk about some true crime if y'all want to. How many of y'all are familiar with the Bart Whitaker case? Type in the chat and let me know, and I'll wait. Okay, I can actually try to see if I can get away with playing a documentary about it and like stopping it every 15 minutes so we can talk about it, if y'all want to do that. So if y'all want to do that, type 1 in the chat and let me know. And before we get started, I'll brief y'all just a little bit on what happened. Or maybe I won't tell y'all at all anything. Maybe we'll just watch it. Start watching it. And you'll find out for yourselves. Maybe I'll just let it be a surprise, bitch. Bloom from Beauty says, not at all. Boss Lady says, nope. Mr. Cardinal does the slant mouth. Bloom from Beauty says 1. Boss Lady says 1. What about the rest of y'all, damn it? Y'all interested in hearing about the Bart Whitaker case or not, damn it? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a minute, y'all. Mom's worried about trying to find a cat. Damn cat didn't go anywhere. Damn cat's in here somewhere. Okay, hey, Sugar Plum, Michelle, poorer. Damn. Hey, Sugar Plum, Tina. Okay. All right. So I guess I'm gonna try to do this, but if they black it out or something, y'all have to let me know because I won't know on my end. So I'll have to count on y'all to type in the chat and let me know if they black it out or take it down or some shit because I won't know. I'll still be sitting up here and won't know shit happened. Okay. Hold on a second. All right. Well, y'all got to vote on this. If y'all want me to give you a brief of what the story's about before I start it, or you just want me to start playing it and y'all learn from there. Type 1 in the chat if you want me to give a little overview, a little summary of the story before I start playing it. Or type 2 if you want to just wait and learn about it as you go along. That just start going into it blindly. Mr. Cardinal says, I'm doing something, so I will just listen. Bloomfield says, hilarious story. What is a hilarious story? I have no idea what you're talking about, about it being a hilarious story. Because the Bart Whitaker story, damn sure isn't a hilarious story. So I have no idea what you're talking about. It's a hilarious story, Bloomful. Um, okay, if there's a comment above Bloomful, I think I'm missing some damn comments because yeah, I didn't see that comment, Bloomful. If you put one, I think I'm missing some comments. I can't do nothing about it. If Streamlabs is doing, StreamYards is doing this shit, there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little summary of what the story is about. I can't believe most of y'all, if you're in true crime, hadn't heard about this before, but it's one of the more interesting stories that I've followed. It was a guy that was the family was from Sugarland, Texas, and it was two boys, a mother and a father. The oldest son be named Bart. His real name being Bartlett, so they call him Bart. His middle name was Bartlett. Okay. Michelle says, "Hi, Neri. Thank you for trying so hard to say my name. You got it right, too." You're welcome, Michelle. Oh, Baxo says that took place about a half hour from where I live. Awful. Yes. Okay, so it was two sons, a father and a mother, Bartlett being the oldest, Bart for short. Apparently, what happened one night was he was supposed to be in college, but he wasn't. And he was supposed to be graduating. And from all accounts, he had a normal life, no trauma, no abuse, no reason for him to have turned out this way. But apparently, he's a psychopath. And he was supposed to have graduated from college. And so rather than tell his parents and everybody else, I guess, that didn't know that he had not uh, graduated from college, instead, he decided to just kill them all rather than face the embarrassment or whatever, I guess was his motivating factor. I think it was probably also money, thinking he was going to like earn, like some inheritance and whatnot, but I don't think that was the only reason. I think it was his malignant or narcissistic personality disorder of not wanting to be humiliated, embarrassed in front of his family and I guess extended family and friends that he hadn't graduated from college. This has happened before. This is not the first case of that. There was actually a very similar case that happened in South Carolina, I think it was, which I'm in North Carolina, where a man pulled the same shit, killed, I think it was his wife and child, because he was afraid his wife was going to expose that he was not, had found out, and she didn't even know that he was not in medical school. So, yes, some of these types do this. So he decided rather than being exposed and humiliated and having to deal with the backlash of not actually being in college and doing what he was supposed to be doing and doing what he was claiming to be doing, that he would just kill them all. Apparently, in his mind, that would solve his problem. So he hired one of his friends to kill his mother and his father and his younger brother at Christmas time, no less. Not on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but at Christmas time. When they had taken him out, bought him a Rolex, what's it called, a Rolex watch, which he had wanted for graduation, and took him out to his very favorite expensive restaurant for his very favorite meal to celebrate his graduation. Okay, so apparently this is why he did this. Okay, so that's all I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to pull up the documentary, and I'm going to see if we can get away with watching it. And like I said, y'all have to let me know if they take it down and black it out or whatever, because I won't know if it happens on my end, because I've got problems with my email, and they usually let you know from email, and I can't, and so I won't be able to know because I'm having problems with my email right now. And so y'all will have to let me know. And so we're getting ready to try it. Hold on just a second. Okay, hold on just a second. And I'll stop it probably about I'll try to be commentating over it, hoping they won't take it down. And I will also, I will stop it about every 15 minutes so we can discuss things about it. I hope I can get away with this shit because it's really going to suck if I can't. Irish Eye said he has a look of real evil about him. Yes, he absolutely does. Boss Lady said there was some guy in Utah did the same thing. Michelle says, okay. Okay, hold on just a minute, y'all. I'm going to try my luck here and see if I can get away with this shit. Hope I don't get caught.
A family that seemed so happy.
I think if anybody looked at our life, they would say those guys have it.
And the night that changed everything.
Someone just shot another. Get over here.
A mother and son are murdered. A father and son survive.
The gunshots went off in shock.
And for police, a story that doesn't add up.
There were some definite indicators on the scene that something was odd.
Who was behind this vicious attack?
I was shouting inside, well, what if that's my fault?
And could they strike again?
You feel you are living with a murderer.
I think everybody knows horrible things can happen, but you just don't expect it.
Murder in the family. Welcome to 2020 on OWN. I'm John Quinones. The bonds of flesh run deep within a family, but sometimes things can go terribly wrong, and it can take years to uncover what triggered the collapse. Kent Whitaker and his wife Tricia believed they had done a good job raising their sons, Bart and Kevin. But as Mary Fulginiti first reported in 2009, a night of family celebration was about to end in bloody murder and leave Kent with a lingering question. Why?
Sugarland, Texas, a safe, loving, embracing community of beautiful neighborhoods and parks, shattered by the unthinkable. A model American family ambushed as they arrive home from a happy dinner out.
Someone just shot another.
A gunman shoots all four, killing the mother and one son and wounding the other son and father.
One subject right now is
He
shot
has
in
the
arm.
look of
Apparently the whole
a
family's been
psychopath
shot.
if you
But
pay
what makes this crime
close
even more
attention to him and his
incomprehensible
eyes.
is this. The surviving son is now on Texas death row awaiting execution for masterminding the plot to murder his own family.
I was the sort of, evil James Bond guy,
This was your idea.
It was my idea.
You wanted to kill your family.
I did.
And he came very close to getting away with the perfect crime. A cold-blooded killer lurking.
And if you'll
inside
notice,
a
he has
seemingly
really
loving
weird
son of a
eyes,
beautiful family.
Did you feel like
especially
you were
on
living
his
in
right
American
eye.
I
Part
think
of
if
his
anybody looked
right
at our life,
eyelashes are blonde,
say
which
those
is
guys
very
have it.
unusual.
Kent Whitaker, a successful manager in the family construction business. His wife of 28 years, Tricia, a former teacher turned full-time mom, and their two sons, Bart and Kevin.
There's going to be an Easter bunny popping up here in just a second. Get back in line, you little nerd.
Family videos paint a warm tableau of a loving, prosperous, God-fearing family enjoying the good life.
Bart, let's see those ears. Who's ready for Christmas?
A succession of holiday celebrations.
Merry Christmas! Yes! Yes! Dad, look what you got.
I see one right here.
I get it! Happy birthday, dear Kevin!
The birthdays of Kevin and his big brother Bart.
From all accounts, seemingly to be a normal family. No abuse, no trauma.
He looked up to me and wanted to be me, and I thought that was so ironic because I wanted to be him.
They played with each other from the time that Kevin was old enough to do it
Kevin, this one needs working too.
up until the end. They did stuff together.
What was your relationship like with your parents?
It was a good relationship.
How about your brother?
Kevin was incredible.
Yes,
We
that's
were
true,
very much
Bloomfield.
opposites. all of the things that he was great at, I was pretty sorry at, and some of the things that I was good at, he wasn't so good at. So we were polar opposites, but we got along very well.
Your family tried to love you.
It was idyllic, yeah.
Hey, Bart, drive down the street.
See how those blonde ashes on the right
From the
eye
moment
make
Bart
his
learned to
eye,
ride a two-wheeler,
his eye
he
look
and his
even
father
funnier?
shared a passion for biking.
Reason I'm commentating
We
over it
tried
is
to figure it out
hopefully so
one
they
time
won't
and
take
ended
us
up with
down and
about
shit.
15,000 miles that we've ridden together.
So what went wrong, Bart?
I was always an independent child, and I think somewhere along in there, can we stop for a second?
What's bothering you right now?
No, just, it's all a lot thinking back on all those days.
Let's say right up there.
What?
I think everybody knows horrible things can happen, but you just don't expect
Doodlebug
it.
says
I had
smiling
been
with
at
the
church
puke
with my
face.
family eating dinner, and had just gotten home, and my pager went off telling me to call the police department.
Michelle says, has he
Even
got
for
makeup
Homicide
on?
Sergeant
No, he
Marshall
doesn't.
Slot, horrible things don't happen very often in Sugarland. A typical week would be a couple of burglary investigations and maybe a robbery.
The dispatcher told me that 4 people had been shot. I initially thought she was joking with me, and I said, "You're kidding, right?" And she said, "No. I need you to respond to Sugar Lakes. A family of 4 has been shot."
The evening of December 10th, 2003 begins as a time for celebration at the Whitaker residence. Bart announces that he's finished his final exams and will soon graduate from college. His parents present him with a very expensive Rolex watch as a graduation gift.
We got ready for dinner, and went to dinner.
Kent, Trisha, Bart, and his brother Kevin all go out to a popular local Cajun restaurant.
Was there laughter?
Lots of laughter, yeah. We were happy, and we were teasing each other, but then we did that whenever we were together.
As they celebrate his graduation, only
Michelle
Bart
says,
knows
oh, wow,
that an
to me it looks
intruder
like he has
quietly
makeup.
entered their home.
Laugh out
I entered the
loud.
house
Hey,
with the
Sugar
key
Plum Red Ruby.
and the alarm code.
Meanwhile, Kent snaps photos. Bart with his favorite dessert, bread pudding, decorated to mark the occasion. Trisha posing
Dirty
with Bart
bastard.
I'm going to show you a picture taken the night of the dinner.
Yeah, I took that after we finished eating. I bet you no more than 5 or 10 minutes before we left the restaurant, which was 5 minutes from our house.
Bart smiles, and yet he knows that if everything goes as planned, in less than 30 minutes, his brother, his mother, and his father will all be dead.
I don't really know a better term for how I was feeling.
And
other than
doesn't
I
give
was
a
in
shit.
Autopilot. I wasn't even aware of myself.
Bloomfield
left the
says,
restaurant and,
or Irish
went back to
says,
the house.
Michelle, he almost looks female.
Came back.
Bloomfield says, this is so
Kevin
weird.
led
They
the
all
way
look
to
so
the front
normal and
door,
happy.
and
Right.
Trish was behind him, and when he stepped in, that's when the shootings happened.
I went out to my car to get my cell phone, and I was walking back from the car when the first shots happened.
What are you feeling? At the time?
Nothing. Nothing at first, and then the gunshots went off, and shock.
When we come back, Kent Whitaker relives the details of the night
Michelle
his
says,
family
right,
was shot.
Irish eyes.
Tricia
Red Ruby
was
says, low
right
light.
here, and she stepped in and says, "Oh no."
Someone just shot our neighbors. Get over here.
And police began to suspect that all is not as it seems.
The drawers being pulled out like they were and not rifled was not typical of a burglary scene.
Stay with us. The Whitaker family has been ambushed in their home in Sugar Land, Texas. 2 are dead, 2 are wounded, and many questions remain. But as police review what happened the night of the murder, they uncover clues about one family member they at first didn't suspect. Did someone in the Whitaker family have a motive for murder? Here again, Mary Fuginiti.
This is Texas Death Row. An intelligent, well-mannered young man from a model family awaits execution.
You were raised by a loving family?
Mhm.
Your mother loved you? Your father loved you? Your brother loved you?
No damn
Yes.
reason at all to do
You
it,
still
but yet he
decided
did.
to kill them.
I did.
23-year-old Bart Whitaker directed a plot to kill his family on the night they all went out to celebrate his graduation from college. He plays the role of the gracious man of the hour. Or does he?
You're smiling in the photo. This is like a half hour before your family's going to get gunned down. What were you feeling in
Didn't
that
give
photo?
a
I was
fuck.
about as close to numb as a human being can get, I think.
His secret murder plot unfolds as Bart expects, just as he and his unwitting family arrive home.
Could have gone to the back door or the front. We came to the front. Kevin led the way, and Tricia was right behind him, and I followed her.
Kent, his wife Tricia, and younger son Kevin suspect nothing, even as Bart hangs back.
So Kevin
Irish
opened
eyes
the door,
know he's not still on death
stepped
row.
inside, and I hear
I'll
a loud noise.
comment more on it when we take a break.
Tricia was right about here, and she stepped in and says, "Oh no," and there's another loud noise.
At the time, what were you feeling?
Nothing. Nothing at first, and then the gunshots went off and shock.
So I step up to look inside the house for the first time. And about that time, I get hit hard in the right chest, spun around, and I ended up lying down with my head here and my feet right here. At that point, I called out to each one of them, and the only answer I got was some quiet, wet coughs from Tricia.
God, what are you thinking at this time?
Well, it's a nightmare.
A neighbor hears the shots and calls 911.
Someone just shot our neighbors. Get over here.
I know I ran into the house. They say I ran past my dad, but I don't even remember seeing him.
Play acting the role of hero, Bart runs through the house to the kitchen, just as the shooter is about to flee.
He said he almost caught him. He grabbed him, but the shooters turned fire, and he jumped sideways and got hit in the left upper.
I remember getting shot. I do vaguely remember making the 911 call.
And what did you say?
That I'd been shot. There was somebody in the house.
Okay, where you been shot at, sir? Where my arm. Okay, Bart, who shot
Yes,
you?
I forgot to mention he also had his friend shoot him to make him look less guilty.
3 houses down, and I pulled my weapon, and I started running through the yards to get to the Whitaker house.
First on the scene, Sugarland police officer Phil Prevost finds 19-year-old Kevin Whitaker dead where he fell, a single bullet in his chest. Tricia Whitaker also dies of a single gunshot wound soon after she's airlifted to the hospital. Miraculously, Kent Whitaker survives, being shot only in an arm. Also wounded, Bart makes for a convincing fourth victim.
Where are you in the house right now? In the living room. Okay, do you see the officers, Bart? Yeah.
I asked him, I said, who are you? Who are you? And he said, I'm Bart. He said, I live here. This is my house. So I figured, he belonged there, and I said, where's the bad guy?
Can you tell me anything about him at all, Bart? Did he sound black, white, Hispanic? No, you're black.
You had yourself shot as part of this plan. Was that your idea?
Yeah. It was to distance me from the guilt.
So you were trying to throw the cops off in your mind.
Yeah.
And it works like a charm.
No conscience.
When we cleared the house, of course, the first thing we thought was that it was a burglary.
The crime scene that I was investigating was a burglary gone bad where the victims were shot by the suspect and the suspect fled the scene.
Homicide Sergeant Marshall Slott thinks he's looking for a burglar with bad timing.
We called out tracking dogs that night in an attempt to track the shooter.
The dogs pick up a scent in the house and follow it outside to a dead end. Sergeant Slott scans the crime scene for anything that might lead him to the killer. He finds drawers pulled open, as if by a burglar. A gun safe pried open. 4 spent shell casings. And on the kitchen floor, a 9mm handgun with 4 bullets missing from its clip. Investigators find no suspect fingerprints at the scene. They take the gun back to the crime lab for a closer look.
Initially, it was processed for latent fingerprints.
Investigator Max Hunter carefully tests the weapon and makes a hopeful discovery.
A partial latent fingerprint was developed on the upper part of the left side of the slide. It was a partial palm print, but that palm print did not have enough information in it. We couldn't identify it to any one particular person.
Tracking dogs identify the shooter's scent on the gun, but DNA analysis comes back negative. It seems the killer made a clean getaway.
It seemed like every piece of evidence that we collected, we ran into dead ends left and right.
Back to square one, Sergeant Slott and his partner, Detective Billy Bow, go to the hospital to interview the survivors, Kent and Bart Whitaker.
They were in separate rooms. So we first went to Kent Whitaker. Kent seemed somewhat at peace.
Little did his dad know that he was in the hospital with the one that was trying to have him murdered.
We catch who was responsible for committing this crime.
Lying in his hospital bed, Kent Whitaker is torn between emotional extremes. He wants revenge, But he also prays, asking God to give him the strength to do the impossible, forgive whoever was responsible.
And the moment that I did ask him to help me forgive, the strangest thing happened. This warm glow flowed over me just instantly. And I looked at my heart and I realized that desire for revenge had gone.
The thought that it might be his own son that he would need to forgive was the furthest thing from Kent Whitaker's mind.
When he told me that he had forgiven the shooter, I was shouting inside, well, what if that...
Boss lady says, what about the dad? He got shot in the arm
I didn't have the
too.
courage to say anything at the time.
Yes, he survived. He was the only one that survived was the father. He was shot in the shoulder.
About what you had done there.
Near
How
the
did
shoulder.
You keep it in?
Boss
How do
lady.
you face that? I don't know how to face that. Hiding it all from everybody else was sort of like hiding it from myself also. There's also the fear of this place.
All of Sugarland seems stricken with grief and outrage. More than 1,000 mourners, including Kent and Bart, attend the funeral for Tricia and Kevin. Local media can't get enough of the story.
Y'all leave. I can't tell you how many times I would wake up in that instant before you were totally awake, everything was fine, and you would think to yourself, why didn't he finish it? You know, I don't want to go through this.
And when you say finish it, you mean murder?
I meant I wish that the shooter had killed me too that night.
With the investigation
What a horrible
hitting
thing
dead
to
ends,
have your
Bart
wife
has good
and your
reason
son
to believe
murdered
he's gotten away
and
with murder.
and almost killed yourself, and to find
When we
out
come
that it
back,
was
Bart Whitaker's
your
story
other son
begins
that did
to
it.
unravel.
Bart Whitaker had not graduated
Or that was
from Sam
behind
Houston State. He had not even been attending the university.
And a surprise witness makes a shocking claim.
Hey, Bart has asked me about making plans to kill his father, his mother, and his brother.
Stay with us.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it for a couple minutes to see if anybody wants to talk about anything. Hold on just a second.
2 dead, 2 wounded when a family of 4 arrives home from dinner after celebrating the oldest son, Bart Whitaker.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it to see if anybody wants to talk about anything or ask any questions, and then I'll resume it back in a couple of minutes. Hey, Sugar Plum, Reese. We're watching a documentary about the psychopath Bart Whitaker that hired somebody to try to kill him, his whole family. Hold on just a second, y'all. Reese says, hey, nary quite contrary. Reese says, hi, everyone. Hey, Irish Eyes. Hey, Sugar Plum. Verbal Constipation. Verbal Constipation says, what's cracking, Nary? We're, like I said, we're watching a documentary about Bart Whitaker. You may be familiar with him. Verbal, are you familiar with him? He hired a friend to try to murder his whole entire family. Is the short of it. I explained it a little earlier. I don't want to have to explain it again because I've already explained it to everybody else. But I don't know if you know about this case or not. Verbal, do you? Okay. Hold on just a second. Michelle says, I just feel so bad for the father. Broken heart. Yes. What a terrible situation. And to your question, Irish Eyes, well, I'll just wait actually till it's over to explain that, because for the people that don't know, I'll see if it's probably best to wait till the end to explain about what you asked about him being on death row Irish. Hold on just a second. Well, you can tune in right now. Hold on just a second, y'all. Okay, hold on. Let me get to y'all's comments, and then we'll get started back up again. Let me get to everybody's comments first. Iris says, Reese, hi there. Hug. Reese said, never heard about this case. I'm so interested. Michelle says, hi, Reese, waving hand. Boss Lady says, he looks crazy. He is, and yes, he absolutely looks it. A lot of people have what I call the crazy eyes or the sociopath, psychopath eyes. Reese says, hi, Michelle. Verbal says, I heard of it, but not too familiar. Yes. If you want to tune in right now, we're about a quarter of the way into it, Verbal, and you can watch the rest of it with us and then tune into the first part after we're through, or whenever the live goes down, or whatever you want to do. Michelle says, hi, Verbal, waving hand. Verbal says, hi, Michelle. Irish says, I've resisted Googling it because I'm enjoying this speech. Yes, Irish, that's the better way to do it. Reese says, have I missed a lot? No, Reese, just go ahead and tune in now. We've only played 15 minutes. Got a whole 45 minutes to go or so. Like not sure how long, but at least like 40. Yeah, a whole nother 55 minutes to go, Reese. So you've tuned in pretty early to catch what's going on. And then you can go back later on when the live goes down and watch the first 15 minutes. Okay, Reese? Let me know in the chat. And we're going to continue to start rolling. Okay, we're going back to it. And sorry, y'all, if I'm talking over it and stuff, but I know I'm supposed to do that so they can't take us down. I was thinking about just attempting like not talking at all to see if they take us down, but it's probably too risky. So maybe we'll try not talking over it and giving commentary another time. But I do have to kind of be rude and talk over it so I don't take the risk of them like blacking me out or taking me down on it. Okay, we're getting ready to resume. That was a little short intermission. We're going to do that every about 15 minutes in case anybody wants to talk about it or has any questions. Kind of like a commercial break. Well, to keep watching with the Red Ruby says, I remember watching this case. I don't know how it turned out. Well, keep watching with us, Red Ruby, and you will find out. Reese says, okay. Reese says, thumbs up. Red Ruby says, thumbs up. Okay, guys, we're getting back to the story.
Graduation from college. It's the Siglery gone awry. Or is it?
There are some things that stuck out in our minds as being odd, but nothing that we could really hang our hat on to say this is not what it appears.
To Sergeant Marshall Slot, the signs of burglary didn't seem quite right.
The drawers being pulled out like they were and not rifled through was not typical of a burglary scene.
Nor was the fact that the only thing missing from the house was the wounded son Bart's cell phone.
And the burglar leaves the gun, leaves all of the electronics, but takes a cell phone
Suspicious.
that we couldn't find in the scene. That was a real oddity that stuck out in everybody's mind.
It's the little details that can be the undoing of one who would devise the perfect crime. The first clues for police arise out of the Whitakers' Last Supper. It was a celebration of Bart's announcement that he had just graduated from Sam Houston State University. But
Bart Whitaker had not graduated from Sam Houston State.
A tiny imperfection in Bart's plot. But it became a big crack when Sergeant Slot noticed it, buried in a story in the
big
Houston
ass
Chronicle.
crack.
He had not even been attending the university. He was listed in their records as a freshman on academic probation.
In Sergeant Slot's mind, Bart is
Verbal
now at
says
least
always
a
in the
person of
details.
interest.
At the time that you're celebrating this, are you
The
enrolled in
devil
college?
is in
I don't
them.
even remember. I don't think so.
You weren't graduating from college.
Certainly not, no.
We took that information immediately and went to Kent Whitaker first with it.
At the time, Kent and Bart are still in the hospital recovering from their bullet wounds.
We thought we were celebrating the upcoming graduation of our son.
Did you talk
Thought
about his
they were.
future?
He was supposed to be going to graduate school.
Graduate school for what?
He was going into law enforcement.
And what is your reaction when you learn from
Ooh,
the police
going
that
into
Bart
law
has
enforcement.
lied about not only graduating from college, but going to college?
I realized, how could he be so stupid?
I was so mad at him. I got in a wheelchair and I wheeled down to his room, and I just read him the riot act about how if he had been telling the truth, he would not be a suspect.
He may be a proven liar, but there's still no proof that Bart is a scheming killer. And then a cop with a long memory raises a big red flag when he remembers a police call to this house once before, 2 years earlier.
Trish and I were awakened by a phone call from the Sugar Land Police Department telling us that Waco police had contacted them that Bart was on his way down here to kill us. It was something that a friend overheard Bart talking to his roommate about, and they concluded that it was a misunderstanding that was based on a friend drinking, and that there was nothing to it.
Misunderstanding or not, in light of the murders, it's a critical new clue for Sergeant Slot.
We've got
Ira says it amazes me how stupid these guys can be. They watch
we now
YouTube?
know that the son is not graduating from Sam Houston.
And now a prior instance of an alleged plot by Bart Whitaker.
Reese says, what a choice, laugh out
All
loud.
those little pieces sent off bells and whistles in our heads, just thinking.
Michelle says was thinking the same thing. Details always get
Bart's a
them.
suspect. Was that a possibility?
Reese says, huh? What the fuck, laugh out loud?
For a minute, no.
Indeed, Sergeant Slot has little more than a hunch about Bart and a lot of questions. How could Bart have staged a botched burglary where he purposely gets himself shot? Who is the
dumb fuck?
And why would the much-loved son of a close-knit and generous family want to kill them all? None of it makes sense.
Officer DuBose.
Yeah, why, motherfucker, why?
The suspect.
So Sergeant Slot returns to the Whitakers' home for a video reenactment of the murders with the two survivors in identical arm slings, still nursing their bullet wounds.
I hear it, bang! And the next thing I realize is I am lying down like this.
First with Kent, and then with Bart.
I got shot. I fell back into the couch and on the floor.
There were no other witnesses, so my only two sources of information, one of them is the father of the primary suspect. One of them is the primary suspect. So that was a juggling act.
A juggling act made worse by the fact that when they are released from the hospital, Bart moves back home to be with his father, an intended victim whose life Slot believes is now in danger. For the
Very
next 7
dangerous
months,
to have the
Bart
murderer in
spends
the
every
house
free moment
again with his
father,
father.
playing the perfect son, studying the Bible.
He appeared as if he was really listening. And I told him, Bart, I can't read your heart. You're either 0% responsible or 100% responsible. The point is that I love you. God has allowed me to forgive everyone involved.
What did you learn in those 7 months?
He truly forgave the person that did this. I mean, he was the first real Christian that I'd ever met that really did what Jesus Christ told him to do.
He asked you point blank, did you do it, Bart? Because the cops were looking at you.
Yeah.
And you said, no, Dad.
Yeah, I did.
Even knowing he was going to forgive you.
Yeah, but it's not that simple. I didn't want to cause that pain on me primarily and on anyone else secondarily. So
at least he tells the
I just
truth.
was weak. I was a coward.
Do you feel like you were sort of
Tells
duped
the
during that
truth.
period of time?
Well, of course I did. And duped is a nice word for it.
For 7 months, Sergeant Slot's investigation makes little progress. Then out of the blue, a huge break from an odd man who walks into the police station very late
Boss
one
lady
night,
says nice. He
describing
landed
himself
on the
as a
couch.
former college friend of Bart's, Adam Hip.
And then he dropped some bombs on me as far
Boss
as,
lady
hey,
says,
Bart has
shaking my head.
contacted me before and asked me about making plans to kill his
Michelle
father, his
says,
mother,
oh
and
my
his brother.
gosh, that
Adam Hip
oh
has
my
no
gosh, that
leads
poor
to the
man. I
killer,
could
but he
not
reveals
imagine.
a second, previously unknown murder plot, aborted at the last minute, in which he was recruited to be the shooter.
One of the plans that he laid out to me that he and Bart had discussed was an exact mirror image of the actual crime scene.
Sergeant Slot decides to hatch a plot of his own. He enlists Adam Hip to trick his friend Bart on a tapped phone line.
He told me how your mom and your brother were killed and how your dad and you were shot. All that was very similar to what one of our plans was.
Stop saying our plan.
Okay.
It wasn't. So stop saying it.
All right.
I was very, very, very afraid of what he had to say.
On the phone tap, Bart agrees to pay Adam $20,000 hush money.
You say at least 20,000? Yeah. All right, well, we'll work out the details.
Using a courier service, he sends Hip a $250 down payment. But then he does something brazen, signing the waybill with the name of a murderer borrowed right from a Hollywood movie.
Anybody could have worked for Suze.
Rebel says, gutless wimp.
That was his power.
Kaiser Soze, played by Kevin Spacey, is the criminal mastermind in the hit film The Usual Suspects.
Blatant fingerprints. That's what all those markers are. Every one of them.
Boss lady says, sorry, I wouldn't have that kid around if I
With
had
Adam
to look
Hitt's
at
story
him,
verified
say,
in the crime
did
lab and in wiretaps,
you do this,
there's a
son?
new urgency to warn Kent Whitaker about his son.
We feel wholeheartedly that he is responsible for this and that you are living with a murderer, that you are living with a man who intended to murder you. You need to make a decision as to how you want to handle that.
But to protect the investigation, Sergeant Slott gives no details.
I knew they couldn't show
Boss
her
lady says, hot to
cards,
watch.
but they could at least
Verbal,
tell me
one of my
something
favorite
if
movies.
They wanted me to believe them.
Kent's response to me was, you guys are either way wrong or my son's a monster.
At this point in time, you still don't believe he had anything to do with it.
I'm not 100% sure of anything. At this point, I think it's possible he did.
Do you fear for your own safety at all?
Michelle
I
said,
slept
take a
well.
name from a hit
I
movie.
slept well.
He did not move out of the home, and it was very soon after that Bart went missing.
On a July morning in 2004, 7 months after
Gone
the
like
murders,
hell.
Bart's abandoned SUV is found with its engine running outside a Houston apartment complex.
And it was
Gone,
crushing
bitches,
there
gone.
Because up until then, there was at least one member of my family that was still here. And now he's gone.
When we come back, police struggle in their search for Bart.
I had nowhere to look for
Boss
him and no
lady
leads to
says, I
follow
go
up
with
on to try and find
monster.
him.
Could another family be in danger?
He said, don't be angry at your parents anymore. If you want, we can kill them.
Stay with us. Bart Whitaker is the prime suspect in the ambush of his family. Police are about to get a major break in the case, but before they can arrest Bart,
Verbal-
they first have to find
Verbal
him.
says, laugh out loud, it's
Once
close,
again,
but laugh out loud, I
Mary
never thought of
Fugenini.
it. But he's verbal Kent, I think.
Suralvo, Mexico, a tough little town about
I didn't
50
understand what
miles
that
south
meant,
of the
verbal.
border. It's a world away from Sugarland, Texas.
Damn, look at that car.
And that's
Woo.
just fine with the American stranger who suddenly lands
Toe
here
up
looking
from
for work
Florida.
and a new identity.
He got my attention because he was different. Abuelito, a young white guy.
It was a very unusual thing because you don't see American workers right here in a little town in Mexico.
Osvaldo Benavides and his close friend Ubaldo Salinas quickly accept the likable man who says his name is Rudy Rios.
He told me his name was Rudy. He was a nice person.
But their newfound friend is no Rudy at all. He's Bart Whitaker, prime suspect in the ambush of his entire
Look at that
family
sinister
back
looking
in Texas.
photograph.
He told us he was a soldier.
That was my legend down there.
Bart's cover story is designed to explain the wounded left arm and erase his true identity.
I was a soldier that was AWOL because I had been shot up and didn't want to go back. That was something that was told from the very first minute I was down there in order to cover me.
Alias Rudy Rios, Bart begins turning up at church and turning on the charm for a guitarist he meets there, Cindy Lou Salinas.
He would bring me flowers. Look, I brought you flowers. I thought he was so handsome. And I don't know, mysterious.
She brings her new boyfriend home to meet her
Mysterious,
parents.
all right.
He's an immediate hit. Her father, Homero, even hires him to work at the family's furniture store.
Verbal says, it's been so long since I've
I
seen
ended
that
up
movie.
loving him like a son. Very, very much.
Did you love them back?
Yeah, we were very close.
Cindy
I don't
Lou
think he's
knows nothing
capable
of her
of-
boyfriend's true identity. But one night, she gets a terrifying glimpse. It's what he says while consoling her after she smashes her guitar
Listen
during
to
an
this,
argument
y'all.
with her mother.
He said, no, relax. Let's fix things. He said, don't be angry at your parents anymore. If you want, we can kill them.
She feels fear that night, but it makes no sense. Like Bart's father, she feels she knows him better than that. But by now, even Kent Whitaker is beginning to believe the worst.
When he ran away, it kind of kicked the third leg out of the stool, and he must actually have been involved. By that point in time, I'm thinking it's pretty hard for me to extend any potential arguments against it.
Sugarland
Verbal
homicide
says
detective
Kevin
Sergeant
Spacey's role in
Marshall
The
Slott
Unusual
needs no
Suspects was
convincing.
a verbal
But more than a
Kent.
year
Someone
after the
said I
murders,
took the
he still
name
has
from
no
that
physical
movie.
evidence. No clue who fired the murder weapon and no idea what
Linville
happened
says
to
Bart molded
Whitaker.
himself into
I had
whatever he
nowhere to
needed
look
to
for him
be
and
for
no leads
whatever
to
his
follow if
agenda
I wanted to try
was.
and find him. So that was disappointing at times.
He scours Bart's SUV and
Hey,
townhome
Sugar
at a
Plum, Miss
country
Southern
club
Belle.
north of Houston, where Bart lived while he was pretending to be in
Welcome.
college. All to no avail.
Miss
He
Southern Belle
interviews
says
Bart's
evil
roommate,
is
Chris
everywhere.
Brashear, and a close friend who lives 2 doors down, Steve Champagne.
Linville says nothing is
The
real in his
investigation
life.
is cold until
Almost 2 years after the crime occurred, Stephen Champagne called me.
in the biggest break of all, it turns out the neighbor, Steve Champagne, has a conscience, and it's eating at him. He has a terrible secret and a confession to make that involves both he and Bart's roommate, Chris Brashear.
When they came in the house, Chris was to shoot them all.
That was absolutely the break we needed.
Champagne gives up the entire story of what happened on the night of December 10th, 2003.
What was Bart's part in the plan?
Look at that picture.
Pretty
Look
much
at his
set it
eyes
all up.
and his
He was
smile.
trying to get them all together for,
Sinister.
kept saying, for his graduation from college.
We got ready for dinner, and I went to dinner.
Iris says Verbal only watched that
Steven
movie
followed
again
us in the car
recently,
to make
and it
sure that we
hasn't
went there.
dated.
How
It's
did you
funnier
know
than I
Chris?
remembered.
Bart had told me before they left.
As
Verbal
the Whitakers
agreed he's in a
unknowingly
fantasy
celebrate
land.
Bart's bogus college graduation, Steve Champagne watches from the parking lot. Meanwhile, Bart's roommate, Chris Brashear, hides in Bart's SUV outside the Whitaker home.
At that point, Chris got out of the vehicle and entered the house.
Michelle says,
with
wow,
the key
red eye much?
and the alarm code.
Did you see them leave, Papa Doe? And then, well, yeah. So then I pretty much followed them home. They pulled in the driveway.
Bloomfield
And I just
says
kept going.
completely
So I'm
detached
a
from
block
reality.
behind, like 1 block over.
And after he stopped and turned off the car and waited about a minute.
Right. And then in a minute, Chris came walking like out to the car and got in the back seat and said that Bart's brother had walked in first. And when Chris shot him, he said before he shot him, he thought he smiled. And then Chris shot his mom and then shot Bart's dad in the shoulder. And then he acted like he wrestled around with Bart and shot Bart in the shoulder.
Unaware of Champagne's confession, Chris Brashear agrees to an interview, but quickly becomes very uncomfortable.
I'm just gonna go. Is that
sure.
all right?
There's the door.
To Sergeant Slott, Steve Champagne's confession yields the one thing that links this trio to the crime.
Yeah, he wanted to get the
mentions
fuck
a
up
key
out of
piece
there.
of evidence that only the police know about. A single glove dropped by the shooter and found beside Bart's SUV.
We knew about the missing glove, and obviously we had this glove in evidence already. So everything fit together just based on one small piece of evidence.
But Sergeant Slott still has no physical evidence to link Bart to the murders until now.
Stephen Champagne explained to me that he and Chris Brashear had thrown items from the crime scene into a bag and thrown that off of a bridge that runs over Lake Conroe near Bart's townhome in Willis.
Sergeant Slott described sending a dive team to the lake. It's a long bridge, but on their third attempt, divers come up with a duffel bag.
It was back over here underneath the bridge, between the 3rd and 5th pylon in that general area, in about 20 foot of water.
In the soggy bag, a treasure trove of decomposing evidence. It's a windfall for crime lab investigator Max Hunter, beginning with an innocuous-looking plastic water bottle.
You just go around the rim of the bottle.
And even after 2 years in the bottom of a lake,
They were able to obtain a DNA profile from that swab, and that DNA profile matched the DNA profile from Chris Brashear.
among the other items in the bag, a rare brand of ammunition identical to the fatal bullets, a glove that matches the one found at the crime scene, a pry tool that matches the marks on the Whitaker's safe, and a badly damaged cell phone. A high-tech data reconstruction process at a lab in the UK identifies Bart Whitaker as the owner. Finally, Sergeant Slott has the physical evidence he needs to link Bart to the murders.
This is the eureka moment.
This was definitely when we said, we've got it.
But where is Bart Whitaker? Sergeant Slott obtains an arrest warrant, but he does not know that Bart, now known as Rudy Rios, is hiding in Mexico. And then the biggest break of all, a phone call from the real Rudy Rios. When we come back.
Surprise, bitch! Okay, y'all, we're going to take a couple minutes of a break and discuss it. And see if anybody has any questions or anything.
How does a seemingly...
Okay, we're going to take a couple minutes of a break and, as I said, discuss it. And if anybody has any questions or anything, we'll do kind of like our intermission every like 15 minutes or so. Did you get yourself a glass of wine, Irish Eyes? Sorry, y'all. There seems to be a lag in the chat today. Bad lag today. Some days there isn't. Some days there is. Boss lady says, okay, I've never looked at anyone and said, hey, we can kill them. And I'm sorry, y'all, if it's obnoxious of me talking over the damn the documentary, but you know, I have to. I'm supposed to do that in order to keep them from like trying to black me out or copyright strike or some shit. So I hate to. I feel so rude being a big mouth and talking over it, but I want to just be quiet and take my chances. But I'm afraid they'll take it down, so I'm gonna commentate over top of it this time, and maybe another time I'll try not commentating and see if I can get away with it or not. Yes, I would say, boss lady said, isn't that a bit of a red flag? Yes, I would absolutely say that's quite a bit of a red flag. Irish Eyes says it's 7 p.m. here, so I'm allowed. Yes, bottoms up, Irish Eyes. Get your dranky drank on. Boss lady says, nor has anyone said that to me when I was upset. Word. Verbal says, Irish Eyes, yeah, I watched it lots when it first came out, and it was so good. Then again, like 10 years after it, it was just as good. Okay, y'all. We're going back to the documentary. Intermission's over. Okay, we're getting back to it. Clang, 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 clang. There's the intermission bell. Or the intermission over bell. Okay, hold on just a second.
Normal, fun-loving boy raised in a beautiful home by caring parents.
What is it? Whoa!
Turned into a scheming monster who would direct the bloody ambush of his own family and even take a bullet in the arm to make himself look like a victim. Take one. As ominous as this childhood game may seem today, no one could have predicted it would happen for real years later in the same room of the same house.
Someone has just shot our neighbors. Apparently the whole family's been shot.
So what went wrong, Bart?
Can we stop for a second?
Yes, what the fuck did go wrong, Bart?
I don't know where it
tell
started.
us.
Bart Whitaker may be at a loss for words, but Sergeant Marshall Slott is not.
How do I reconcile what Bart did to his family? I'm only left with the conclusion that Bart Whitaker is a sociopath, a true sociopath.
And back in the summer of 2005, he's also worried because Bart is missing and Sergeant Slott is convinced he could kill again. Unknown to the police, Bart is hiding in Mexico under the alias Rudy Rios, has charmed his way into a new family and talked about killing them.
Vamos a arreglar las cosas. He said, don't be angry at your parents anymore. If you want, we can kill them.
Cindy Lou Salinas is scared, yet unaware
That
that the
would make
boyfriend
me
she knows
highly,
as Rudy
highly
is a
concerned.
fraud with
That
experience
statement.
directing a plot to murder his family, which today he astonishingly describes as a game.
Bart, do you feel like you have a conscience?
Yeah, absolutely. That whole plot, it was always I hesitate to use the word game because people love to take what I say and twist it, but it was sort of like a game of chicken between me and the other guys. Who flinches?
Did you feel any guilt? Did you feel any shame?
I wasn't feeling much of anything, but yeah, it was there. It was just on a level that I wasn't paying any attention to.
He seems singularly without remorse and without even the beginnings of remorse.
A classic sociopath, says psychiatrist Dr. Edward Hollowell of the Hollowell Centers in New York and Boston.
When he says he feels remorse and he feels guilt and he feels shame, you don't buy it.
I don't. I was struck in the interview that he showed almost no emotion. It was almost like he was mouthing the words. It was chilling. I was just blown away. Here's this young man who's done about the worst thing a person can do, and it's as if he's talking about the weather.
That observation is confirmed in the confession of getaway driver Steve Champagne.
Did you ever see any signs of remorse in Bart?
No.
And it gets worse. Champagne says Bart also talked about wanting to finish the job and kill his father.
Verbal says what amazes me is that the conversation is okay. If anyone ever talks to you about killing someone,
Dr. Hollowell
go
also
the fuck
sees a
on
narcissistic personality.
and
It's an
get them
extremely
some help
dangerous
before they do something
extremely
stupid.
dangerous because you
Right.
have no guide. You have no internal
Michelle
brakes.
says he's alive.
And you have this tremendous feeling of emptiness. So you want stimulation. You want to somehow feel alive. And the normal things that make people feel alive, love, attachment, bonding, that's all gone. I mean, having these fantasies of murdering your family, I mean, well, he had to go to that length to feel alive.
Finally, in
Which is
September
twisted
2005, the climax
as
in a
fuck.
long string of unsolicited witnesses, hard
Hey,
police work,
Sugar Plum
and
Rain
some good
Dancer.
luck comes in the form of a phone call.
Rain Dancer says,
It's
hi,
the
Neri.
real
Hi,
Rudy
everyone.
Rios, and he has the final answer to Sergeant Slott's last big question. Where is Bart?
So I know where he's at because my family is taking care of him.
A busboy at a country
Somebody
club
want to
near
type in
Bart's
the chat and
home,
tell Rain
Rudy
Dancer
Rios
what we're
tells the
doing,
police
please?
he sold his identity to Bart and helped him escape to Mexico for a couple of $1,000s. Now he's prepared to sell out his friend for a $10,000 reward from the police.
But if there's a reward, I'd turn his head in.
I'm thinking this is the break we need. When Rudy Rios gave me this information and it seemed to check out, I was ecstatic.
Bart Whitaker is arrested in Mexico without incident, having harmed no one during his time as a fugitive. And on the road back to Sugarland, Sergeant Slott has only one unanswered question for his prisoner.
The only thing I really want to know at this point is, how did you get all of these people to
Dead
do
eyes.
such horrible things for you? And Bart responded to me that it was easy. All he had to do was give them what they wanted.
What was y'all's benefit for doing this?
Like I said, Bart said his family was worth a lot of money. He said he would give us millions of dollars.
That was motivation for them. It was never about that for me. I didn't care about money. I had plenty of it.
He talked them into it. So he had this amazing ability to inspire, persuade, cajole.
Hey,
To do
Sugar
something
Plum, Kimberly.
absolutely not in their self-interest. I mean, to do something crazy.
You planned to have your family killed not once, right?
I believe there were 3 separate occasions.
You really wanted them dead.
We're watching a documentary
You got
on the
caught
Bart
once.
Whitaker case, Kimberly, and
right?
Rain
You still
Dancer.
went through with it. But why, Bart? I mean, this is the question that everybody wants to know. Why?
The 15-second soundbite answer is I wanted revenge for being alive, and I blame them for that. I blame them for who I was instead of blaming me.
You blame them
Which
even
is
though
typical of
the
people with
evidence
malignant
points that they really
narcissistic
loved
personality
you and nurtured
disorder
you and tried to give you
with
everything
antisocial
that they could
and
possibly give
sociopathy.
you.
From a materialistic standpoint, yeah.
Well, your mom lived for you and for Kevin.
You're welcome, Rain
Yeah, but we
Dancer.
didn't really connect on that level.
Did you not connect because you couldn't feel it?
I don't know.
I think he really believed that who we were loving was someone that didn't exist, and that he was hiding behind a mask so that we would never find that out.
Rain Dancer says,
Now,
oh,
back
okay,
in
thanks.
Sugarland, Texas, Bart Whitaker has his day of reckoning with his
Sup,
sole surviving victim,
Ty?
his father, Kent.
We're watching a documentary on murderer Bart Whitaker.
It's the night that Hurricane Rita hit Houston. I'll walk in this room with bulletproof glass between us, And there's Bart. And he said, "Dad, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault." And it was at that point I realized he was saying, "I did it. I'm sorry. I want to confess."
Incredibly, Kent Whitaker remains steadfast in his ability to forgive, and he chronicles that journey in a book, Murder by Family.
You write Bart a letter about what the murders meant to you and the extreme loss that you have suffered. But at the end of this letter, you write, "My son, I love you. All is forgiven."
Yeah. I suspect people would expect that it would be difficult, but the truth is that I had crossed the forgiveness barrier, and mostly what I was interested in now was helping him recover from whatever this problem was that caused this.
What can I do for you?
Nothing.
Jailhouse phone calls confirm Kent's unwavering support of Bart as he awaits trial.
Well, just hang in there. Keep calling. Love you. I love you too, guy.
He believes his son has truly changed and repented, and now feels genuine remorse.
He's an amazing man. And whether or not I'm a person incapable of love, I am a person capable of feeling a very deep respect for that man. I love him to death.
How do you feel about your mother?
I just wonder if he really can feel love,
I'm
though.
sorry. You know, I'd like to redo that whole relationship.
Rain Dancer says, I've not heard about this one. I'll need
singing,
to explore more. Seems interesting.
Yeah,
It's an extremely, extremely interesting Rain Dancer. RSI says, incredible man.
We, the jury, do hereby find the defendant, Thomas Bartlett Whitaker.
A jury convicts Bart Whitaker of the first-degree murder of his mother, Tricia, and his younger brother, Kevin. The shooter, Chris Brashear,
Boss lady
received
says,
life
"Come on,
in
I
prison.
can't take
The
this."
getaway driver,
What do you mean
Steve
by that, boss
Champagne,
lady?
gets 15 years. Kent Whitaker takes the witness stand to plead for his son's life. Still, the jury sentences Bart to death. And when that day comes, Kent plans to be there, supporting his son to the end.
Boss lady says,
Bart
"Oh
says he
yeah,
doesn't want
oh
anybody
yeah,
there.
do over."
He doesn't want to hurt him. But of course I'll be there. Of course I'll be there.
Hey, Bart, drive down the street to the stop sign for me.
And
Could never imagine that his son was
will
going
be
to grow
over.
up
That's
to
what
be
it'll
a
be.
psychopathic murderer, capable of murdering, having
if
his
I'm
own
right,
family murdered.
in my belief that he's changed, then he will go to heaven. And if I'm wrong, he won't.
Ty says, "I'm trying to stay out of my fields. They are scattered."
A father and a son. All that's left of a shattered family. And an unanswered question. How could a child who had everything go so wrong?
Boss lady.
The Texas Court of Appeals has upheld
Hold on a
Bart
second.
Whitaker's death sentence, and as of 2014, all of his appeals have been denied. He remains on death row. His father, Kent, continues to visit him in prison. Chris Brashear will be eligible for parole in 2035. Steve Champagne is due to be released in the year 2020. I'm John Quinones. Please join us next time for another edition of 2020 on OWN.
Because I wanted to be him.
They played with each other from the time that Kevin was old enough to do it.
This one needs working too.
Up until the end. They did stuff together.
What was your relationship like with your parents?
It was a good relationship.
How about your brother?
Kevin was incredible. We were very much opposites. All of the things that he was great at, I was pretty sorry at, and some of the things that I was good at, he wasn't so good at. So we were polar opposites, but we got along very well.
Your family tried to love you.
It was idyllic, yeah.
Hey, Bart, drive down the street to the stop sign for me.
From the moment Bart learned to ride a two-wheeler, he and his father shared a path.
Okay, I guess that was the end of it. It said it was an hour and like 10 minutes long or something. Hold on, let me see. So apparently, hold on, let me see what happened. Yeah, it says it was an hour and 10 minutes long, but apparently they recorded the same episode back to back, I guess, is what it's looking like happened. Hold on just a second. So, okay, let me go back and see the chat here. Actually, I thought it was going to be longer than that because, like I said, it said 1 hour and 10 minutes, but it was cut short. I mean, apparently it looks like whoever recorded this recorded it like back to back twice. So I might check in a minute and see if I can find some other stuff on it. Hold on, let me catch up with the chat first. Boss Lady says, the dad's forgiveness. I can't take that. Sorry, not in me. See, I feel differently, Boss Lady. If it was my son, I would have compassion and forgiveness for my own son. Maybe not somebody else, but certain people, especially my own child, yes, I would. Especially considering you got to keep in mind, Boss Lady, that was his only living relative from his immediate family. The only one. Everybody else is gone from his immediate family. Verbal says, I can't imagine this dad's pain. Yeah, I know. It would be horrific to have your wife and your youngest son murdered due to your older son's actions of hiring somebody to have you murdered. And for those of you that don't know, if I'm not mistaken, actually after his father lived, he actually tried to solicit someone to have him try to be murdered again. Ty says his father is imprisoned within himself. It got me. Boss Lady says, forgive him, yes, but to support him, say I love you, could not do it. I could because it's my son, my baby. When I would look at him, no matter how terrible he was, I would see my little bitty baby. Hey, Sugar Plum. Hey, Sugar Plum, Julie. Welcome. Julie says the average death row inmate usually stays on death row for 22 years and most die in prison of natural causes. I'll comment on that after I read the comments, y'all. So I got a little more info to give y'all that y'all might not know. Let me catch up to the comments first, though. Julie says in California, that is true. Rain Dancer says, so sad. Today's families are so dysfunctional, most in denial. Hold on just a second. Verbal says, yeah, a bullet would save taxpayers lots of money. Just kidding, but not so much. Laugh out loud. Michelle says, I believe it when he says he was looking at his brother and says he wanted to be him. I think he knew there was something not right in him. Yes, I agree, Michelle. Most people with malignant narcissistic personality disorder with antisocial and sociopathy, they are a lot of them know there's something wrong with them, even though they typically don't want to admit it. So yes, he probably envied his younger brother, and they also have a severely low self-esteem, masked by a false superego. And so yes, he probably sensed from a long time something was not right about him, and envied others, typical in the personality disorders. Rain Dancer says, "Dear God." Boss Lady says, Nary, you have a point, but man, that's tough. Yes, I actually saw about this story many years ago, or at least several years ago. And yes, I mean, being that it was my only living family member and my child, my baby that I birthed and held in my arms, I would still love them. hold on a second, y'all. Let me catch up to the chat, and then I'll explain some other things about this case that y'all might not realize. Rain Dancer says hopping in bathtub, but we'll be listening. Hey, Sugar Plum, Montana Sky. Montana says hello, everyone. Julie says I would be surprised if his dad didn't see some oddities in his son as he was growing up. If he did, Julie, I've never seen it mentioned publicly. Rain Dancer says hello, Montana Sky. Welcome. Okay, so the boy, as far as I know, I don't know what they said there in. I wasn't paying attention because I've actually seen it before, but he was put on death row, sentenced to death. His father fought for a long time, I think years, to get him clemency and commuted to life in prison, which he successfully did, which I agreed with, and I was glad that he was able to do it because I would feel the same way. I mean, like I said, I know I've said it repeatedly, but that's your son. That's your only living immediate family member that's left. That's your flesh and blood. That's your child. You would remember giving birth to them if you're a woman, or holding them as a baby, and a part of you would still see them as your little baby, and your heart would bleed for their suffering being in prison and their pain, even though they tried to have you killed and murdered your wife and your youngest child. You would still, in my opinion, I understand where he's coming from, your heart would bleed for your little baby boy that was once your baby boy. Rebel says, hi, Montana Sky. Rain Answer said the oddities are there. As I said, families in denial and crisis. Michelle says, hi, Montana Sky, waving. Verbal says, agree, Mary. Yes, that's very much how I feel, Verbal. I mean, that's your baby, regardless of how horrible and egregious they may have turned out. I think as a parent, or even maybe a family member, you would just still love them, especially if it's your child. Because I've tried to put myself in that position before if my son did something like that, and I would still just love him, and I would even hurt for him that he was suffering in prison and stuff, even though he tried to kill me and have my other child and my wife killed. My heart would still bleed for my baby son that was behind bars. Hold on just a second, y'all. Irish says, your own flesh and blood. Absolutely. Yes, that's how I feel about it, Irish. I think it said on the little tape where they were interviewing the guy that actually did the shooting or was part of it or knew something about it or whatever. I can't remember which role he had because there was two other guys that helped. One that was the one that was the shooter, and one drove the getaway car, and it was time stamped at, I think it was September something of 2005. Julia says, in this case, yes, but I don't believe the other heinous cases should be decided by perpetrator's family. Obviously, this is because it was the father's loved ones killed. Yes, I agree with that, Julie. I don't think the perpetrator's family should ever be able to decide a case like that. No, this was a special case, though, but considering it was his own child and it was against his own family, which I'm glad they saw it that way because I really feel like that man deserved to have his one and only living family member and son survive because he was already punished enough by losing his wife and his youngest son. Montana says, Rain Dancer, how are you today? Verbal says, my kids are everything. Can't say for sure, but would be struggling to end that relationship. Also struggling keeping it. Don't think there's a right or a wrong answer here. Yeah, for me, I would absolutely keep the relationship. I'm sure of that because that's my baby. Michelle says, hold on a second. Michelle says, I get it. Love is love. It doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that they think they shouldn't be punished. You did this and that's your consequence, but I still love you. Hope I said that right. Yes, I absolutely get that. And that's how I would feel. Michelle is like you, like, I love you. You're my son. I wish you hadn't have done this, but you have to pay the price of what you did, but I still love you and my heart bleeds for you, but I'm sorry you made this decision and you did this to yourself. That's how I actually raised my own son to be. And he knows to this day that he knows that if he ever made certain choices, like for instance, if he ever hit a woman, he knows that I'm going to do everything in my power to make him stay in jail, that I'm not going to go bail him out, that he's going to learn, which I think he would never do, but he knows that I'm the kind of person that I'm about consequences. That I feel like as much as I love him, that you make that mistake, you gotta pay the price. You have to do what you have to, you have to pay the price for whatever it is you did. And I'm like that with my son. Like I said, he knows good and well if he ever hits a woman or anything of the sort that I'm not going to bail him out, and I will threaten everybody they better not if they tried to, because I believe it's very important that people learn their lesson, and that's what unfortunately keeps a lot of people keep doing the same behaviors, is because family members and friends are too quick to go bail them out, and when they get in trouble, and therefore keeping the cycle going because they make it too easy for them the first time, second time, and the third time. Michelle said, thank you, Verbal. Montana says, Michelle, hello, sweet lady. Michelle says, yes, exactly. Julie says, why isn't life mean life, though? I would have no problem with cases commuted to life, but people with life without parole have a chance to get out. Yes, I agree with that. I don't have a problem with most people getting life, as long as life means true life instead of 20 years or whatever, that you have to stay, and there is no chance for parole, that you have to stay till you pass. Another very interesting case, I don't know if y'all have ever seen or heard anything about, we might try to do it sometime as well, is or never mind, I won't say, because somebody else might try to steal it if I put it out here. Because I haven't seen anybody else cover this, so I might do it. Michelle says, oh, Montana. With the heart face. Julie says, tough love by parents is real love. Absolutely. Boss lady says, yes, nary consequences. I think life is right for this kid. Yes, I agree. Otherwise, I believe in the death penalty, and if it was under different circumstances, I would say put him to death. He committed the crime. He must do the time. He must pay the price. But in this situation, I understand the pull of the father to want his one and only surviving family member and son to survive, because he'd already been punished. The father, and he had already been punished by losing his youngest son, his wife. So it would have been wrong to punish him even further when it wasn't even his fault. Verbal, same Nary, consequences for actions, but also they know I'm always here for them, even though I don't support their actions. Parents need to stop their kids from getting away with things early. Yes, I agree, and that's absolutely the way I handle things with my son. And he turned out to be a pretty good boy. Now he's got some things he needs to work on for sure, but as far as being like a criminal, or he's never smoked a cigarette a day in his life. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs. He has no desire to do any of those things. Never been in trouble with the law. Overall, he's a pretty good boy, although he does have some things he needs to work on. But I think that's accredited to some of his ADD causes him to have like certain issues with things. Tina says kind of puts the attitude of the Watts parents in perspective, but more Ronnie than Cindy, I think. I still think Cindy is nearly as evil as her son. She could be. I was never into that case like a lot of people, so I'm not really sure the ins and outs of that one. I mean, I know some stuff, but I never delved into it like everybody else did. I was kind of a latecomer to that case. And yeah, but things I've heard, it sounds like she had a problem too, and that Chris turned out just to be an exaggerated worse version of it from what I've seen and heard. Hold on just a second. Whew! I gotta turn this heat off. Man, is it hot in here. It was so cold last night, and then whoo, burning up now. The heat going. Whew. I am burning up. I am sweating. Whoo! Tina says, I agree. Cindy Watts was disgusting in her interviews because she was speaking terrible about Shanann. I think the Watts family dynamics was very telling on how and why Chris Watts was who he is. Possibly so. Montana says the problem I have is given life in prison may be a right sentence, but I don't like the idea of the public having to support him the rest of his life. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I understand that, Montana, but you got to have the compassion for the father wanting his only living immediate family member and child to be alive. And I guess if they wanted to, in certain situations, I know that's not the way the law works, but in certain situations, if they wanted to put it upon, like I guess the person that fights for them to survive or whatever, put it upon them if they're financially capable to support him, because his father had money, so I'm sure he would have had the financial means to support him if that would have been an option. Rebel says, so because you're so damn hot, Nary. That's right. Damn, I am burning up though. I might have to put y'all on hold for a second and go get something to drink. Man, Whoo! It happened all of a sudden too. I had those heaters going, and that happens to me though. All of a sudden, I'll start burning up out of nowhere. Tina says definitely very messed up family dynamics here. Not for 22. Verbal says not for 22 years. It's a lot of money to spend on someone who kills his family. Yeah, I understand that too. But like I said, if maybe they could fix it where if they in certain situations of committing a case like that, if the family was able to support the family member themselves, let them do it. Because like I said, his father was a man of means and he has money, so he would have the ability to do so. Hold on just a minute, y'all. I gotta go get something to drink. It's like all of a sudden I was just burning up. Good grief. Woo! Julia says, Tina, yes, very true. I think that is why the case is so very interesting. It goes deeper than just a husband snapping. I never believed Chris Watts snapped. Lots of layers there. Yes, I absolutely 100,000% agree with that. I don't think he just snapped either. I think it was like you said, lots of layers there, and lots of things leading up to that. It wasn't just a snapping situation. I think he probably was showing signs, being subtle or whatever, for years. Montana says, that's not fair being too hot. It's 12 degrees here and snowing. Have about 5 foot so far. If y'all want some snow, come and get it. We got plenty to spare. Actually I love snow. But yeah, it was in the 20s here last night. I think like 28 or lower. But now it's gotten up to 49 here today, which to me, I'm a very hot natured person in general. So to me, 49 is quite comfortably warm. Julia said Scott Peterson would get tons of letters from women, money to put on his books, gifts, etc. Oh, I'm absolutely sure of it. As now that you mentioned that, Julie, this is probably the case for Bart too. I mean, as egregious as he is, he's probably got women all over the place writing him and sending him money and cards and letters and things. I'm sure that's the case. Probably if we could Googled it, we could probably find out it was the case, actually. Michelle said Chris Watts did not snap. He just didn't want to pay for a life he was not enjoying anymore. He wanted to move on. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree that he decided he didn't want to be a dad or a husband anymore. That he wanted the new girl that was the girl on the side chick that would let him do it let him do it up the butt and all that stuff. You know how some men, their head can be turned by, or a lot of men, their head can be, or men with no real substance can have their head turned by a lot of raunchy sex and shit that can actually pull them away from their own family like a bunch of idiots. Julie says they get cable. Lots of times the lawyers give them these things. They're appeal lawyers that benefit from representing them for years. Boss Lady says, Mary, did you see that Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash this morning? Tragic if true. No, I didn't, but I did see something about it. I had a notification come up just a few minutes ago actually saying something about it, so it must be true, but yes. That's a shame. Tina says, Julie, yeah, I don't believe he snapped either. You can see fear in the girls' eyes in some of Shanann's videos. They love their father, but children know monsters when they live with them. Julie says, Tina, I agree. Children and dogs. Verbal says, weak men. Yep, I 100,000% agree with that, Verbal, and it's a shame. It seems like almost at times it seems like more men are like that than aren't, which is a damn shame. I mean, ugh. I mean, some of the men I even know myself has surprised me at some of the shit they'll do. Like, this one guy I went out with and dated some. We came across each other on a social media site, and his wife had cancer, probably still does. And he was actually asking me one time on a snow day if he could come hook up with me and stuff, and like us hook up and have sex and shit. And I was like, I could not believe he was trying to damn hook up with me. I mean, it's bad enough to be trying to hook up with a girl you dated behind your wife's back, but even worse that you're trying to hook up with her while your wife has cancer. That is terrible, terrible. And I just thought that was terrible. And I never would have. And he's such a good guy and like a family type guy. I would have never thought he would have been trying to hook up with me behind her back while she had cancer. I would have never thought that of him. I was like, oh my gosh, no, you didn't. Iris says, Tina, I agree. I believe the girls were quite standoffish with their dad in the last few weeks. Kimberly says, Nary, are you okay? Yes, I am entirely okay. Why do you ask that, Kimberly? Damn, I hate I missed that Chris Watts movie last night. I'll have to watch it today. I hope I can watch it today. I'm pretty sure I can. Damn it. I didn't realize that I didn't realize last night was the date of the debut or whatever. Verbal said, I'll never watch it. Why is that, Verbal? Michelle said, I made a point of not watching it. Tell me why y'all don't want to watch it, Verbal and Michelle. I would like to know. And there's a documentary out there too. I haven't watched it yet, but I'll probably watch it as well. Verbal says it's not accurate and or wait a minute. Irish says I've heard so much about it I don't need to watch it. I'd like to see the documentary though. Verbal says it's not accurate and I'm just done with the case. All that has to be learned is learned and all the rest is speculation. Michelle said, because I know it already, I might watch it in a few years if I see it come on the TV. Kimberly said, I was getting worried about you getting all hot all of a sudden, but I get that way sometimes as well. No, I was fine. It was from the heaters. It wasn't anything to do with the thank you for being concerned, but it wasn't anything to do with me being biologically as much as I was just getting hot and from the heat because I had a heater blowing right on me and I just all of a sudden got hot. But I do that. It's not uncommon for me to do that. Just suddenly be burning up. I've been like that way for many years because I'm very hot natured. Like I said, I'll think about it and I might do another little true crime case sometime if I can get away with that one. But I don't want to say who out here because sometimes people do that. They'll hear you say it and they'll be like, oh, let me snatch that one. Let me do it first. Because I haven't seen anybody cover that case at all whatsoever in this community, which I'm really surprised about. But so I might do it. We shall see. There's a really terrible song that somebody made up as like a joke song or whatever about the Chris Watts case. I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's really terrible, but really kind of interesting as well. But I won't play it. Somebody, but somebody else say I'm trying to rip it off from somebody else either. Let's see. Hold on just a second, y'all. Yeah, some of y'all. Hold on a second. Our side says, please do, praying hands. Verbal says, good call, Neri. Yeah, I think so too, because I think I haven't seen anybody cover it, and it was very popular. And y'all probably know the one I'm talking about, but it was very popular. So I'm really surprised nobody's covered it. I've never not seen anybody cover it in here. If they did, I never saw it. Which it was a very, very interesting case. I'm really surprised they didn't. Rebel says, I'll tune in for sure. Michelle said, okay, I just heard Nicole Atkinson has cancer, Shanane's BFF. If that's the case, Michelle, I have not heard of that. Not yet. Irish says it's disgusting. What do you mean, Irish? Michelle said, that poor lady, if that's true, hasn't she been through enough? Yes, that's the problem, Michelle. It seems like some people get more than their share of heartache and pain and misfortune in life. I happen to be one of those people, unfortunately. Although there is people that's worse than me. Kimberly says, Michelle, that's what I heard too. Montana said, I haven't seen people do much on the lady in Arizona that killed her kids. No, I haven't either, actually. Yeah, so apparently you've heard the song, yes. I heard of it actually before the one particular person, I know you know who I'm talking about, started playing it, but it's like I got mixed feelings about it. It's like it's really, really fucked up, but it's kind of like in a way good because it's like making fun of Chris Watts because he's such a fucking idiot. So I got kind of mixed feelings about it. When I first heard it, I thought the same thing you thought, Iris. I thought, damn, what an egregious fucked up ass song. But then I was like, ew. Then I was like, I don't know. I see it kind of both ways because it's kind of like a song to make fun of him, talking about Chris Watts. So it's like I kind of got double feelings about it. Hey, my sweet and sour Audrina. I'm actually, you got in here late. I should have sent you something letting you know I was going live. Because I'm probably going to be shutting down here in just a few minutes because I've already been on here almost 2.5 hours. You'll have to go back and watch the replay, Audra. We actually covered the Bart Whitaker case and watched a documentary about him and talked about it some. Kimberly said, Audra says, hi, Nary correct contrary. Flower and candy. Kimberly says, hey, Audra, heart, double heart. Yes, it is actually very catchy, Irish Eyes, in a fucked up way. And I have caught myself singing it as well. Like I said, the song is fucking terrible. It is. It's terrible. It's terrible. And the first time I ever heard it, like I said, I heard it long before Old Boy started doing it. And I thought, damn, that's a fucked up song. Damn, that's fucked up. But then later on, it's like the comedic side in me was like, well, it's kind of funny trashing that stupid, silly bastard for thinking he was going to do that stupid shit and get away with it. What a dumb fuck. I would play it on here, but some ass white would try to say I was copying him. So Audra said, hi, Kimberly. You actually need to watch that movie sometime, Audra. Or read the book, My Sweet Audrina, and also watch the movie, My Sweet Audrina. I think I would like you. And actually, anybody listening, I think y'all would like it and be interested in it as well. Arsha said, hey, said Audra, hi there. Kiss. Yeah, the song is very fucked up, but it's also kind of interesting as well and funny. I have mixed feelings about the damn thing. Like I said, the comedic fucked up side of me thinks it's hilarious. Then the other side of me thinks it's really fucking egregious and fucked up. Michelle says I've read it. What'd you think about it, Michelle? Like I said, for y'all that are listening, you should actually try to try to if you it's an interesting read. If y'all haven't read it or watched the movie, you should. It's an interesting story. Kimberly says, Nary, how's your mom doing? She's doing just fine, Kimberly. Thanks for asking. I'll tell you that you asked about her. She gets a kick out of when y'all ask about her and stuff. I don't even know what it's called. I can go get the link and put it in the chat. It's a parody song for Chris Watts, and it's really, really fucked up and egregious and terrible and horrible and fucking in bad poor taste, but at the same time comedically insulting on Chris Watts. So I have double feelings about it in a sort of fucked up way. Audra says, Irish eyes, wave, clover, 4-leaf clover. Michelle said, I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was a really good story too, Michelle. I read it when I was a teenager. And I saw the movie too, like a few years ago. Hold on a second. I'll go see if I can get that song, the link for that song. I really want to play it bad, but like I said, some asswipe will accuse me of trying to copy him shit. Which I actually knew of the song long before he started using it, but I never put it out here because it is kind of fucked up. Okay, y'all. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. I'll put the link to that song in the chat. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me check y'all's chat for a second. Michelle says, I also read Flowers in the Attic series. V.C. Andrews has a style of writing I like. I don't think I read the book, but I saw the movie. Or maybe I did read the book. Yeah, I think I did. I think I read the book and saw the movie. Audrey says, Kobe Bryant killed in helicopter crash this morning per TMZ. Yes, we heard about that. Unfortunate incident. Hey, Sugar Plum, little Laura. You'll have to figure out what that is, little Laura. Jill said, yes, I read them years ago, but still some of my favorite. Tina says, yeah, I'm not proud to like it for. You talking about the song, Tina? Audra says, and other news outlets. Okay, hold on. I'll put it in the chat. I want to play it really bad, but like I said, some jackass will accuse me of trying to copy him and shit. Montana says, I think we need to grab some wine and go dancing. How about it? That's right. Kimberly says, Neri, thank you so much. I have love for you and your mom. Little Laura says, I am. Hold on. Yeah, okay. I'm going to get the link. Like I said, if you hadn't heard it already, hold on. I'll just tell you in a damn minute. Oh, God. Hold on, y'all. I'm still getting the link. All right, y'all. I put it in chat. For anybody that has not heard it, listen at your own risk. I repeat, listen at your own risk, because it is both egregious, disgusting, and terrible, and quite dark, comedically interesting, hilarious at the same damn time. So any of y'all that haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen to it, and then come back and tell me what you think. I'll be here waiting. In the meantime, I'm going to make a phone call because y'all just heard that my phone rang. So I will be right back. Go into the link, Rain Dancer, to listen to the song if you haven't heard it already. You probably have heard it already, Rain Dancer, if you want to listen to it. I posted the link in the chat there. As I said, I'll be back in a few minutes while y'all are going to listen to the song if you haven't heard it already, because I got to make a phone call. And I will be back. All right, so I'm back. Did any of y'all go listen to the song if you hadn't already heard it before? If so, tell me what your thoughts are. Kimberly says, Audra, sending prayers for you. Montana Sky says, I got it. We have a barbecue, invite Chris Watts, and he can accidentally fall on a barbecue skewer. It would be a sad thing, but save a fortune in tax money. I agree. He should have got the death penalty. For sure, for sure. Yes, Rain Dancer, it's a terrible song. I don't know if you heard it before or not, but I have mixed feelings about it, like I said. First time I heard it, hold on a second. First time I heard it, I thought, oh God, how terrible, what an egregious song. But the more times I heard it, the more times I saw the kind of like the dark humor in it, and it was kind of interesting and kind of slamming and making fun of Chris Watts kind of thing. I don't think I get live chat on here. I think I only get top chat or something, which I don't know how the hell to change that on Streamlabs. Maybe I need to be looking at the phone the whole damn time or something. I don't know how to fix that. On StreamYards. I don't even know if there is a way to damn fix it. RSS says, Daddy, let me breathe. Oh my gosh, that's just not funny. I'm sorry. Yes, I don't agree with certain parts of it either. With other parts, I do. Thanks, funny, and thanks a good slam on him. Yes, I don't agree with that part either, Irish, but the other stuff, like, you know, what else does it say? Something about he can't believe he fucked up his life and all this shit, and all because a slut let him suck and put her in her butt and all that shit. Sucked, and I like most of it except I'm not too cool with that part either. I've wondered before if that fucker Chris has actually heard that song or not. I'd say there's a good chance he probably has. Yeah, it's like some of it is like pretty funny and like slams on towards him that are kind of funny because he's such a dumbass, and all that stupid shit. I mean, think about how completely fucking ignorant that is. I mean, what kind of damn jackass monster can you be that you're willing to murder your own wife, 2 children, and unborn child over some damn hoe you met at the job? I mean, you gotta be a fucked up motherfucker. And I don't know still to this day if she actually knew if he was married or not. I find it hard. I mean, that he was still with his wife or in a relationship or not. I find it hard to believe that she could be so stupid that she wouldn't realize it. But I don't really know. But anyway, you look at it, she'd have been stupid to stay with him if he had imagined he had gotten away with it, and she would have known, possibly had an idea and stayed with him. Like some of these women that are like are with these men that have murdered their wives, and they go get with these men and they vouch for them and swear, no, he could have never done this. Oh, I promise you, he never did it. It wasn't him. And it's like these women are complete idiots for being with these men, knowing good and damn well they could be number 2 or 3. I mean, I would never put myself in that damn position. I would never date a man that I mean, I know she wasn't dating him after he had committed the murders, but I'm saying there's a lot of women that willingly date these men that have murdered their wives and children and think they're innocent. And I would never put myself in that damn position with a damn man that was accused, even if he wasn't convicted, that was accused of murdering his wife and or children. Hell no. No way in hell. Let's see. Lil Laura Neri, you sound like Brett Butler and Grace Under Fire. It's a compliment, and I liked the show Grace Under Fire. Thank you, Lil Laura, although I don't take it as a damn compliment. And actually, believe it or not, I recognized that myself years ago when that show was on. I remember thinking how much I hated the way she talked and the way her voice sounded and her accent and everything. And then it dawned on me, I was like, well, damn, you talk a lot and sound a lot like her. Kimberly says, I believe NK knew he was married. I think it's a possibility. Well, we know she knew he was married. It's just a matter of not. And he told her he was still living in the same house with her, but they weren't sleeping in the same bed and having sex. Now, she was an idiot to believe that, in my opinion. A complete idiot. Now, some people sympathize with her and they think, oh, well, he lied to her. She didn't know. She didn't know. She was a victim. I tend to think I've been in that position before where men tried to con me and tell me shit like that, like when they were still living there with their wife and tried to tell me like, oh, well, we don't sleep in the same bed, we don't have sex, and trying to get me to mess around with them, date them and shit. And I was like, nope, because I was smart enough to know that was complete and total bullshit. Yeah, Tina says, yeah, Kimberly, I think she always knew. I tend to think she probably did too. Yes, Laura, I know you meant it as a compliment, and I take no offense to it. Thank you, Sugar Plum. I take no offense to it. Montana says, I don't get the women that write to and marry men in prison, some for serial murder. I don't get that shit either. To me, I think my personal opinion on it is, Montana, is that one, I think they like the idea of like associating themselves with what they feel like as a celebrity, and it's the closest way they could get to be with a celebrity, is like somebody that's like a serial killer and in prison. And they kind of like the idea of being with a dangerous man, but yeah, he's contained. The thrill of being with a dangerous man, although he's contained in a cage like a lion or some shit. Crazy nonetheless. I would never fucking deal with it. Um, hey, Sugar Plum, Molly, Emma, McGillicuddy. So Molly says, sorry I came in late. I have a feeling we're discussing the Waltz movie Confessions of a Killer. No, we weren't. I haven't seen the movie. I didn't even realize it aired last night. But yes, we did get sidetracked on people talking about the movie last night that it came on. So we did start talking about it some. But I've got to watch it today because I actually didn't realize it had aired last night. So I'm out of the loop and behind on that. Verbal says she knew 100%. Yeah, I think I think I mean, it's a possibility she was so stupid she believed him, but depends on her intelligence level, I guess, or how gullible she was. Because I would never be fooled by that shit. In fact, one time, I was put in a position where I was messing around with a guy that had a girl pregnant that lived with him, but at the time he was telling me that he didn't know whether or not that was his kid, and actually that she had moved out or they still had an open relationship at the beginning or whatever, considering that they didn't know whose kid it was or whatever. And I didn't believe him, and actually fucked my own self up for a good man that I could have been with and would still be with to this day. That would have been the best, most deepest love of my life. Out of not believing him, because men too do tend to lie about shit like that. And I fucked myself up by not believing him, and actually ruined my life over it, really, to tell you the honest truth, because then I wound up getting with the wrong man after that. So I actually fucked my own self up by not believing a man that actually was telling me the truth about the situation, and I thought he was just being a common man trying to lie, con, and bullshit. Randancer says, I love you. Your check is in the mail, and I promise not to ... Thank you, Randancer, if you were talking to me. I don't know what the I promise not to ... was. You have to clarify. Molly says, hey, Sugar Plum, actually the hour program following the movie, I think it's called Behind the Headlines, was the best. Yeah, I'll plan on checking that out. Probably here in just a little bit when I get off of here, if I'm not sleepy. Kimberly says, I'm just wondering why they never gave her a lie detector test. Are you for sure they didn't, Kimberly? Yeah, that's what some of the people said in here. Little Laura says, I'm sick of hearing about Chris Watts. I won't watch the movie. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I wasn't all wrapped up in the case and stuff, so like other people were. I was actually a fairly late comer to it, so actually I will watch it because I've not been overdosed with it like a lot of people were. Laura says, little Laura says, an evil man. Yes, absolutely. I still just can't get over, like I said earlier, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just amazing to me that there's so many men and women in some cases that it's like divorce is just not an option for them. Their idea of divorce is to murder the wife, and the children are just the wife. It's like, the hell? I mean, really, you're that worried about money that to you murder seems like a better thing to do? I mean, how sick and twisted can you be? Randancer says it's too bad. What is the Chris Watts situation, Randancer? Hold on a second. Okay, I understand what you're saying now, Randancer. Montana says, you can't blame yourself. We as men haven't done much to earn any women's trust. Sometimes it's shameful to be a man. Yes, unfortunately, because of the track record of men conning women in that way about situations like that, I changed the course of everything in my whole life, which actually wound up ruining my life in many ways because I wound up going on to be with the wrong man. Unfortunately. Hold on a second. Hey, Sugar Plum. L says, I started on the Watts case the day he was in court. Raindancer says, promise not to vum on your mouth. What in the hell does that mean, Raindancer? You promise not to VUM on your mouth? The hell? What? You'll have to clarify. I don't even understand what the hell you were talking about. Hey, Sugar Plum, Red Ruby. Red Ruby says, I'm sick of hearing about him too. I don't want to see a movie about little girls being killed. Rain Dancer said, that's the ... Oh, okay. L says, I mean the day he was convicted. Rain Dancer says, phew. Rebel says these psychos were never given consequences for actions, so now they can't cope with stress. I think that's true in some cases, but not all. Sometimes I think it's other things other than to do with that, like childhood trauma, genetic predispositions for malignant narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial and sociopathy type of shit. Randy Answer said, women believe lies, though. Yes, typically. I'm not one of those women, though. It's kind of hard to get. It's kind of, yeah, I figured it out. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. Yes, a lot of women believe lies. I'm not one that's too easily fooled. Actually, thank God. Randy Answer said it wouldn't take the C. Randy Answer says replace V with C. Yeah, I figured that out after I thought about it a couple minutes. Molly says, I know how you feel, Neri. I had my fill of the Watts case true, and I promised myself I wouldn't watch this, but of course I broke my own promise. I have one thing to say, Ronnie, in small portion of it. No, actually, I didn't have the feel. I was saying I didn't have my fill of the Watts case, Molly, that I wasn't one of those people because I was never heavily wrapped up into it, and I was a latecomer to it. Randy Esser said, it's a saying that depicts gullible women. Oh, I've never heard that before, Randy Answer. I didn't know that. I totally get what you mean now, Randy Answer. I've never heard that before, though. Randy Answer says, me too, I don't buy the bullshit. Yes, I typically don't either to the point of, like I said, kind of fucking up my own life for not believing a story of a situation with a man that was actually telling me the truth. That was actually my first love, and that I could have had a very, very, very good life with him had I believed him and everything, but I didn't. Fucked up everything and changed the whole course of everything. Hey, Sugar Plum, Peanuts and Cracker Jacks says, hi, everyone. Molly says, oh, sorry, I came in late to your chat. That's okay, Molly. Rebel says, yeah, I don't believe the bullshit. Rain Dancer said, if Mary Marlowe is stepping away, so should everyone. Yeah, I think it's pretty played out at this point. As far as people covering it, anyway. Especially if they're going to come up with a bunch of ridiculous bullshit that's just so outlandish notions and bullshit, and especially people that are blaming Shanann for it like as somehow it was her damn fault. Montana Sky says, I raised $3 on surprised women talk to any of us after about age 18. L says, how do you know it would have been good though? Because I knew the guy. He wasn't just some stranger. I'd known him since I was 13 years old. I still know him today, and he turned out to be a beautiful and wonderful, good man, which I already knew he was anyway. I just thought, it sounded like too much of a convoluted story to believe. Because men are just lie about that shit all too commonly. Randy Anderson says, all happened to me, but he was a functional alcoholic. Red Ruby says, oh yeah, those should have, could haves are hard to get over. Yes, especially when you had very tremendously life-changing course of events because of it, to go on to pick a terrible, horrible, awful man after that basically ruined my damn life. Rain Dancer says the latest is Braun Moxley. Molly says there were some YouTubers whose pictures were displayed in behind the headlines. Mary Marlowe was one of them. Rain Dancer said he's being swatted through mail, threats, and white powder. Dennis says, hey, Montana, you are one heck of a sweetheart. Dana says, Kobe Bryant died in my neck of the woods. You came in real late, Dana. I'm going to be shutting down in just a few minutes. I've been on here over 3 hours now. How many of y'all did watch the movie last night, the Chris Watts movie? Because like I said, I would have watched it last night, but I totally did not realize it was airing last night. Verbal says it's heartbreaking, Nary. I went for looks when I was younger and missed out on some wonderful opportunities for a healthy relationship. I feel your pain. Yes, it was my first love that actually wound up coming back later on in my 20s, and I really made a mistake, a huge mistake, and it changed the course of everything. And now I can't go back and do it. Fucked up everything by not believing what he told me was the truth. Rain Dancer said this shit is getting dangerous. Mail is federal. Kimberly says, hey, Dana. Hold on. I got to skip something here. Dana said, I used to live in Calabasas. His helicopter crashed there. Montana, wait a minute. Montana says, Dana, now my day is perfect. Hello, sweetheart. Dana says, Kimberly, you're a doll with 3 hearts. Rain Dancer says, I think there's still love. What do you mean by that, Rain Dancer? Tina says, no cable. A way to possibly get around that, Tina, is if you know somebody that has cable or satellite, that if they would let you go online and download the app and then log in with their login information, you would be able to watch it like that, Tina. I'm sure somebody's going to bootleg it and put it on YouTube or something, probably, if they haven't already, Tina. Dana says, Montana Sky, my Mr. Wonderful, 3 blue hearts. Molly said that movie played at least twice on Lifetime. After I watched it now, most likely it's on demand. Yeah, probably so, Molly. Kimberly says, Dana, thank you so much. When are you going live stream again? Randancer said 67 and still time for sunset. Elle says, but you have a child from your other choice. Yes, and I think about that all the time, that I would have never had him had things not went the way they went. But if I could go back and do it over, I would still let it go the way it did and have my child, but then go back and try to find him and be with him after my child was born, Elle. Dennis says, I'll live stream maybe tomorrow, sweet Kimberly. 3 roses. Rain Dancer said, if I had no cable on AD stream, there is a link. Verbal said, I have 3 kids and wouldn't change a thing looking back, but I understand that feeling is all. Yes, Verbal. He said, that's what I hope. We have YouTube Premium, so it should pop up sometime. Doesn't YouTube Premium have the Lifetime channel, Tina? Rain Dancer said, I got 2 sons who don't know I exist, 2 grandkids I never get to see. How did that happen, Rain Dancer? And I'm sorry to hear that, but how did that happen? Hold on a second. Somehow, hold on. Hey, Sugar Plum, Miss Analyzer. I'm okay. How about you? Tina says, thanks, Rain Dancer. I'll check it out. Rain Dancer says, okay. Montana says, I don't think when it says based on a true story, it's ever any good. Molly says, you can probably find it on Apple TV on the homepage. There's an icon for Lifetime, but you have to sign in and register either on your computer or your phone. Tina says, no, surprising. No, surprisingly. Oh, shit, that's crazy. You would think that would be included in the package. That's one of the regular channels, cable channels. Rain Dancer says, Daddy has a bigger wallet. I'm sorry to hear that, Rain Dancer. I hope it changes for you at some point. Dennis says, I have 3 kids in college. They are wonderful people and my everything. Shit. Analyzer says, doing good, cleaning, laugh out loud. Analyzer says, are you talking about the Watts movie? It was a decent movie. Yes, we were. I didn't see it, though. I got to try to watch it today, hopefully. I didn't even realize it was airing last night. Molly says, but then again, I think you would have to have Lifetime as a part of your subscription package, whatever TV plan you have. Right. And in most TV plans, it is part of the basic package, Molly. Rebel said, congrats, Dana. Clapping hands. Hey, Sugar Plum. Sue. Sue says, hi, Nary. Love. X. Randancer says, the father worked overtime with money. Horrible divorce and custody battle. I'm very sorry to hear that, Randancer. And like I said, I hope it gets better at some point. And Analyzer says, pretty close to facts, but a lot left out. Dana says, Sue Shaw and 3 roses. Sue says, hi, Dana. Okay, y'all, I guess I'm going to go ahead and be shutting down. I've been on here 3 hours and 11 minutes. I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes to go ahead and say your goodbyes, though, because I think it's really rude when creators just, like, completely shut you off and don't give you a chance to say bye or anything. I think that's rude as hell. So I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes to say your last final words and goodbyes and everything. Rain Dancer says there's one creator who's going through divorce, so she says she's going to get burned, I think, if she don't get busy. I wonder who you're referring to. I wonder. Rain Dancer says, oh, I got it better. I won. Dana says goodbye, Nary, and everybody with hearts. Bye, Dana. Damn. A Molly Go Lightly alert just went up saying Kobe Bryant dies with daughter. I guess his daughter was with him. Damn. Guess Molly's having a live if y'all want to go over there when we shut down. Hear what she's got to say. Randancer says sons we'll see someday. Rebel says bye all. Be safe. Montana says thank you for being on for us. You're a great host. Thank you very much, Montana. Randancer says bye everyone. Molly says bye Nary. I thought her divorce was final. Laugh out loud. Tina says thanks Nary in chat. Blue heart. Randancer gives 4 black hearts. Iris says thanks Nary. Bye everyone. Okay, y'all. Bye everybody. I'll see y'all later. I don't know when I'll be doing one again, but I'll see you next time. And y'all take care. And Ruby Red says heart and praying hands. Bye, Ruby Red. Bye, everybody. I'll see and talk to y'all later.